Ghost Tactical Studios. Welcome to Tactical Tuesday, live on YouTube and simulcasting on GunChannels.com. Make sure to check out our complete catalog of podcasts on iHeartRadio, iTunes, GunStreamer.com, and PodBean. What is going on, my Ghost Squad? Welcome to Tactical Tuesday. Today is Tuesday, August 24th, 2018. We've got a jumping crowd that started way early. We had someone, not going to mention any names, Patriot, was in the chat room yesterday. So, you know, he was camping out waiting for his all-night front row ticket. So, welcome, everybody. We are live, as always, on YouTube, and we are live simulcasting, as always, on GunChannels.com. If by now you are not familiar with GunChannels.com, crawl out from under the rock in which you live. It's a great community for pro-gun, Second Amendment activists and advocates. GunChannels.com was started by GWebs about 5 years ago, coming up on the 5th year anniversary, so congratulations to GunChannels. It's a great place. They call it the water cooler of the Second Amendment. You've got 24-hour lobby chats. You've got people that are always around if you have any questions on guns of any kind or anything Second Amendment. There is always someone there to answer those questions. Most of your content creators and live podcast hosts that you love listening to and watching, most of us are already on GunChannels.com, so come check us out. Speaking of which, let's go ahead and see who is over there. You got GWebs, of course. G's over there, and Rupan, and Einstein, General Relativity's over there. Gizzard Gary, Dr. No, DT Pfeiffer, what's going on? Gizzard says gun channels equals fun channels. So there you go. GWebs just put the code in on the internet. All the people made it to Gun Channels. Fantastic, fantastic. We've got a hopping crowd over there on the YouTube side. Guys, if you haven't already, go ahead and say hello in the chat. We can't see that you're here unless you say something. If you're here for the first time, go ahead and tell us where you're at. We'll send you a shout out. Guys, we got a really cool panel tonight. We've got a special guest. If you have any questions that you want to address to the panel or to our guest, please tag one of us on the panel, and we'll try to get to those questions. If you definitely want that question read, go ahead and send me an email at live@ghosttactical.us, and we'll make sure those questions get on. But let's go ahead and send some shout-outs, see who all's out there. Patriot was there 27 hours ago, so he's been camping out. Nighthawk, Guitar Man Pete, Gun-loving Grandpa Stanley. What's going on, Buck? Let's see here. Scott P's out there. Grim the Reaper is out there. I think I said Nighthawk, but if I didn't, what's up? John Brown Productions. What's going on, JB? Brent Winkle's out there. Stealth Hunter's out there. Let's see here. Storm's out there. Storm, I'm watching you, young man. I'm watching you. Patrick Pew Pew's out there. Gizzard Gary, the tactical chicken himself. Joe Ziola's out there. David Bowling, the Kingpin. Kingpin is in the hizzy. Rich White, the 1% is out there. What's going on, 1%? I think I said Stealth. Rupan. Rupan's out there. What's going on, buddy? Let's see here. Am I missing anyone? I apologize. Black Cat, what's up, RL? He's out there. If I missed anyone, I apologize. I think I said Buck already, but if not, hey, Sarge is out there. What's up, Sarge? C4 Defense, go check him out. Outsider 503's out there. The Gun Snob's out there. Georgia Trucker's out there. Andrew Faulkner, what's up? We've got Jorge. Haven't seen Jorge in a while. What's going on, man? Glock Don't Lock is out there. What's up? Richard Chamberlain. What's up, Richard? All right, what we're going to do real quick, guys, is we're going to run through the panel and say hello to these guys and introduce them to the people that haven't seen or heard the show. A couple of these guys are on pretty much all of my shows, but we've got someone that I'm really excited about having on the show, and then we have a special guest as well. So we're going to start out and say hello to, from Michigan, we've got the man, the myth, the patriot in the dark. What's going on?
Hey, thanks for the invite. And my mom told me that waiting and camping out all night wasn't worth it.
It wasn't. Well,
I got my spot.
Maybe with front row tickets, you never get it. So I know you've got some cool stuff going on, guys. If you haven't checked out Patriot in the Dark, he's doing some cool videos, especially on GunChannels. Patriot, in case you haven't realized it yet, Patriot is visually impaired, and he's bringing a whole different perspective to the gun community. And I know you got some stuff going on, some projects. You want to talk about those real quick?
I'm just 100% blind. And I'm echoing. Yeah, just throwing out some videos and suggestions, comments, whatever. Put them in the comments, and I'll follow up.
All right, where can we find your stuff? You want to tell us where you can find all your stuff?
I'm on YouTube. I'm on GunChannels. I'm on GunTube and GunStreamer. And
is it all Patriot in the Dark?
For the most part, yeah. The Twitter, I'm at Patriot_ITD, and Instagram is just at Patriot_in_the_dark. Try to keep it.
You're trying to make it easy. We're sorry.
His troll account is Liberal in the Sunshine. In case you want.
I wouldn't say liberal. I would say how would we put this? Traitor in the sunshine.
There you go. Treasonist in the sunshine. There you go.
There you go. Hey, Vanessa, Kitty, how you doing, kiddo? All right. Well, yeah, go check out Patriot. He's got some really cool stuff, and he's bringing a whole different perspective to the gun community, which I think is extremely important. We got George Grayson joining us. Phoenix is joining us. Unknown user. What's up, user? As I see you guys, I'm going to try to shout you out, but welcome to the chat. Welcome to the show. From South Carolina, we've got Mike with MW Tactical. Are you computer going all right now? You back and ready to go?
Man, I hope so, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm just
sound good.
Yeah, I was just telling Black Cat he can contribute to my computer upgrade plan if he's calling it fake news, but you know how it goes.
Well, hey, Patriot, Brent's got a nice name for you. Benedict in the Light. That's a good one. I like that one. What you got going on? I know you got some projects going on, Mike. You want to touch on them briefly, and we'll give you some time at the end, but do you want to touch on them briefly right now?
Yeah, if everybody will, just go over to GoFundMe.com/M-W Tactical, and we're trying to raise money to get some officers into some jiu-jitsu training for a year for free. So we're going to talk about it a little bit later, but head over to GoFundMe.com/M-W Tactical, take a look at it, and wait for further details when we talk about it later on.
There you go. There you go. And once again, we've tried to send him the wrong link. We tried to tell him that we weren't having a show tonight. Anything we can get for this guy not to show up, but he continuously shows up. He's the magical one, the tactical leprechaun from Texas. Clover Tack, what's up, my man?
I'm not doing well. It's a sad day, and I want to plug something too, if I might.
Absolutely.
I went to the doctor today. I've already set up a GoFundMe. Not to crap on Mike's style there, but I've already set up a GoFundMe. I'm in dire need of an appendix transplant. It's going to be really bad if I don't get that. So go check out my GoFundMe, guys. Help out if you can. Thanks very much for having me. I appreciate it.
I've heard of a lot of things, but I've never heard of an appendix transplant. That sounds kind of shitty to me. I'm just
hey, a leprechaun got to try, right?
All right. We're gonna do some house cleaning real quick before we start the show. I do want to send a shout out to my newest additions of the Go Squad on Patreon in the month of August. I want to send a quick shout out to Michael Wood, Brent Winkle, Ben Lemmy, and Angry Haircutter. Love that name, Angry Haircutter. Remind me not to go get a haircut from that guy, though. Just saying. But thank you so much for the support. I truly appreciate you guys and all my Go Squad over there. I love you guys, and you guys make it so much easier to get through all of the nonsense, which is content creation. But thanks again for everyone watching. We are going to, before we head out, before we get going, as we always do, we have a couple public service announcements. So here we go with the first one.
Hey, Go Squad, this is Sky. At Ghost Tactical, we understand the rising tensions across America regarding guns and gun control. It is more important than ever to be vigilant about our Second Amendment rights. We encourage everyone to stay informed and contact your local, state, and federally elected officials to make sure they are hearing your voice. They represent you, and without your input, their votes may be vulnerable to outside influences. We ask that you actively support any gun rights organizations such as Gun Owners of America, Second Amendment Foundation, Firearm Policy Coalition, and even the National Rifle Association. We understand you may not agree with all the politics involved with some of the organizations, but we encourage you to keep up with and support as many as you can.
Alrighty, then. Always like to go and get some public service announcements out there. All right, so the man of the hour is our special guest. We've got Chris Wood, who is a senior VP of marketing and sales with Tactical Walls. He is I think you're in Virginia. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, well, welcome to the show. We're really glad to have you. We're going to have an awesome discussion tonight, but I want to bring you in and let you introduce yourself and Tactical Walls.
Right on. Appreciate it. I'm really excited to be here. Interestingly enough, I've also got a GoFundMe. I'm not getting a transplant of my appendix. I'm going for a second appendix. I want two.
Nice. Right.
I think that's the move. But
he's planning double appendix carry is what he's
doing. He's appendix carry with the wazoo.
Field appendix is
the double barrel appendix. I love it.
Yeah. I mean, somebody's got to do it.
Exactly.
But so if anybody's not familiar, Tactical Walls, we are, I think we're the leaders in home defense furniture. We're all about giving you secure, fast access all around your house.
Yeah, I've got one of your shelving units. I've had it for a couple of years now, and I really like it. But it's one of those that I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm a Marine. I'm not very smart. I can't type and talk at the same time. Crayon, so it is what it is. No, I really enjoy, because what we're going to talk about tonight, guys, is our main topic is how to kind of prepare your house for a home invasion. And whether it's hiding guns and hiding ammo and hiding different things around the house or outside the house or whatever, we need to have a plan just in case. We talk about concealed carry being, in case shit happens when you're out in public, but what if someone actually breaks into the house? Do you have a plan with your family and all that? And there are products out there that are very helpful in concealing handguns in plain sight, and so I'm really excited about having Chris on here to talk about some of the products that you guys offer that can help with that. So before I want to start real quick, I want to kind of run through them, and I don't expect anybody to tell us what you have hidden or where it's hitting and all of that, because obviously we want to, hey, Zippy, we obviously want to keep the element of surprise for people. But part of the preparation for a home invasion is not just where your weapons are or what you have or what kind of weapons you have, but it's also a plan. If you have other people in the house that are in a different room, do you have a plan in case someone breaks in? Is there a safe room or whatever? So I want to start with Miles, and Miles has, with Patriot, my bad, dude.
That's all right.
With Patriot, that being blind, your perspective might be a little bit different on how you prepare for a home invasion. So without going, you can go into as much detail or as little detail as you want, but what kind of preparations have you made in your place for a home invasion? Do you have an invasion type plan, and do you practice those plans?
Yes.
There you go.
No, I do have a set up as far as going through with my daughter and stuff, but sure. I have security lights outside and things around the house, and it's been explained that if something happens, there's places to go and what to do. Right. But it's definitely something that you have to stay on
without exploiting the fact that you are blind, but obviously your probably setup for your house is going to be much different than how my setup would be for obvious reasons. Are there precautions? Are there different things that you take, or by this time you're kind of familiar with the floor plan of your house and it's no big deal at this point?
Yeah, there's no place in my house I don't know. I can find whatever unless somebody moves it, but that's a different story. As far as my house, I've kind of set it up so that there's only one point of entry that's not, watched, and then from that point, it would take a certain amount of time to get anywhere that's important. And so yeah, it's been mapped out. I mean, I've been at this house the whole time I've had this house. I've been blind, so I've been working on it since I came here. So
right,
but yeah, and it's yeah. I mean, I'm trying to skirt around things, of course. But
no, I know it's a question because we don't want to give away our secrets. You know, I know that.
Yeah. But if you're in my house, I know where you're at.
Yeah.
You know, so
good.
Unless you don't breathe, and then, well, I don't have to worry about you then.
Anyway, so. Mike, what about you? And like I said, without going in too far in depth, more importantly, do you have a plan, more like a plan of action, especially if your daughter's with you or not? But do you have a plan if there's an intruder, if you have to get somewhere that's other than where maybe most of your guns are at?
Yeah, because you know, I stay in my house by myself. So what I actually do is I stage firearms in different portions of the house. Whereas, you know, in the event something happens, I can run from one point to the next point, you know, pick up and, you know, cover, scatter, however you want to look at it. Right. But when my daughter's here, that plan totally changes, and it's just whatever I keep in the room with me at that time.
Right.
But yeah, so if something happens, she knows where to go and then wait for the code word as well.
That's something I want to talk about here in a little bit, because that's something that my family also does as well. Now, Clover lives on his compound, and he's probably got like mortars and IEDs waiting for people as they come up the driveway and all of that.
Just the moat, man, with the dragon fire.
Oh, okay. Well, a moat, that's pretty cool. I'd like to have a moat.
Yeah, dragon fire and alligators. Yeah, it works very well.
But I know you've got plenty of stuff, but I know that you and your wife are kind of empty nesters like I am now with kids off in college. But when your kiddos are at home, do you guys have like a safe word or a plan of where to get to in certain situations?
Not really.
Not really.
Not really. I mean, I don't know. There's like an understood plan, because you're talking about kids. You're talking about only the youngest one that's even home occasionally, really. So
right.
And I mean, she knows, and she's more confident with a firearm probably than I am. So, yeah, I don't have to worry about that too much.
With a bow and arrow, I know that for sure.
But with the the layout of your house and all makes a big difference. And if you're in a situation where you choose, and that's kind of the way we live in an old house. So, there's not technically a quote unquote master bedroom and quote unquote, all this other stuff like a lot of new houses and new homes you see. You just pick which bedroom you want to be the master bedroom. Right. So, and you pick which rooms are the bedroom and the dining room and the living room or whatever. So, the way that's laid out and the way the entry points are, yeah, you break in, you're walking into a trap. You're boxing yourself in the first place if you're coming in, uninvited. So you're not walking into a great situation to start with.
Excuse me. Yeah. Same way. I've got firearms, and it sounds weird. And maybe it's just kind of the OCD in me and all of that, but I have firearms kind of staged throughout different parts. We kind of, in my mind, I kind of coordinate it off and set zones up, and I've got access no matter where I am in the house. I'm no more than 4 or 5 steps from a firearm at any given time. Yeah. And not even my own family knows where some of them are. It's one of those things.
And deterrence is the biggest thing, and especially whether you're going to be home or not, right? As far as security. That's why we do security lights. That's why they sell fake cameras where you can't tell if they're real or they're even fake. It's deterrence. And one of the biggest things is just having a dog helps. I mean, if you've got a dog that's going to bark, that person can show up. Yeah, that person can kick in my front door, sure. But before he ever gets to that point, the dog's going to be raising 9 kinds of heck.
Right.
And then before he could kick in the door and even get out of the living room, I'm up and aware and waiting, basically.
Right.
So
Jesse B out there says he has an attack cat outside, 2 dogs inside, and most importantly, a teen daughter with an attitude. That right there, my friend, will get it done. I have a 21-year-old daughter, and I remember when she was a teenager, you didn't want to mess with her. You did not want to mess with a teenage girl that's got an attitude. They will light you up. Now, the reason why we're talking about this is obviously we want to be prepared in the home, just like we are when we carry out in public. I have a shelf unit from Tactical Walls I've had for a couple years now. Love it. And if you didn't know what it was, there's no way to know that it's something that's hiding in plain sight. A pistol. It's a single pistol shelf. I want to bring Chris in here, and I want you kind of to talk about where Tactical Walls started. And I don't know if you've been with them since inception, but how did the ideas of, I mean, obviously everyone has ideas, but how did it come to fruition about, hey, if we can build some things that can hold and store and hide guns in plain sight, it may give the homeowners and all that a more tactical advantage. What was your first product, and how did it become to be?
So it all started, my partner, I'm one of the founders. My partner is the design guy and the sales guy, basically.
Okay, gotcha.
And Tim, he lives in a fairly small house, has 4 young kids, and had that growing gun collection. That once you get your first good job, that sort of kind of happens. And it was just that stack of Pelican cases, just getting taller and taller in one corner of the bedroom. And he realized that if somebody broke in, like, that's gone first thing. So given that it was a small house and a big safe wasn't realistic, he built the first kind of prototype into the wall of his bedroom. And then later on we met, and he showed me the kind of refined version. I got really excited because A, I wanted one, and then B, I thought I could sell the heck out of them. And that'll be 6 years ago this October.
That's awesome.
So since then there's 18 of us working here now, and we're cranking these things out in Virginia, building them all here, which is probably the part I'm most proud of. But something you said earlier really resonated, comparing it to concealed carry. I really like to think of most of our products almost like an inside the waistband holster for your house. It's a way to keep a firearm where you want it, where you need it, but nobody else knows it's there unless you show them. So it gives you that balance of access and security. And the other thing that you mentioned is just staging around the house. For me, I always heard the 3-second rule, and that kind of made sense to me. I want a defensive tool within 3 seconds of myself at any point in the house. And, like Clover was saying earlier, depending on what your house looks like, that's got a lot to do with where that is. But generally speaking, at least something in each room, because you don't get to pick where bad things happen. So you might as well give yourself all the advantage you can.
Yeah, and I know you mentioned just a second ago about being proud of making them there in Virginia. Guitar Man Pete out in the chat has a question and wants to know if all the components are made in the U.S.
Almost all. There's a few things that we couldn't get. The magnets that we use for retention and locks, they're rare earth magnets, and mining the materials it takes to make those was outlawed in this country back in the 70s or 80s. I can't remember now. So those are foreign sourced, and then some of the screws are foreign sourced. But the plastic for the inserts is all U.S. And then when we form it here, all the wood is U.S. Most of it actually gets milled for us by an old Mennonite guy like 20 minutes away. So it's even in the same county. But yeah, let's see. The mirror's out of North Carolina. The foam's out of Pennsylvania. We keep everything as close as possible.
Well, I think you got Guitar Man Pete's seal of approval. He says, good enough for me. Yeah, if we're only worried about a magnet or something, I think that's pretty salty that you're able to not only find and utilize components and materials from the U.S., but it's also right there because we all know that it sounds bad, but we all know that we can all make a little bit more money if we get our stuff overseas. And I like the fact that you're sitting there saying, look, it might cut into our margins maybe a little bit, but it's important enough to the company to try to get as many components as possible from the U.S. So that says a lot about the company in itself. So.
Absolutely. And, we have been knocked off by, there was one company in particular that took our designs, sent them to China, and is now selling cheap Chinese knockoffs. But that's something that we could not possibly be less interested in doing.
Right. Now, Clover or Patriot or Mike, do you guys have any questions right now, or what do you guys? Do you have any questions in the chat, or you guys have any questions before we move on?
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and ask one. With the China knockoff that you was talking about, is there a way that y'all can actually get them for like copyright infringement or something along those lines?
If we had limitless funds for lawyers, probably, but they've changed enough that it would be just basically the lawyers would get rich off it, and nobody else would really win.
Yeah, that's kind of sad that
it's unfortunate, but that's the way it's set up anymore.
I got you.
All right, so I've got a question for you. This is kind of off the wall. I want to say, first of all, shout out to Paul from GunStreamer. He just checked in. He's probably over there watching Hank earlier with Austin being on there. But you guys aren't related, are you? Paul and Chris Wood, y'all aren't related, are you?
Not as far as I know.
Okay. I was like, that's cool.
Cousin. I'm cool with that.
Right on. Clover or Patriot, you have any questions right now for Chris before we move on?
I'm curious about the use of the RFID chips and how all that works.
Yeah, so that, like almost every development in our company, it came as the result of customer feedback. So we've really tried to listen from the beginning because without our customers, obviously, we're nowhere. And we had enough people say that they weren't comfortable with just the magnetic lock, particularly people with young children. So we worked with a guy in Germany, actually. So I apologize. I should have mentioned earlier the lock for the RFID was all developed in Germany, but that came totally just from people who wanted that extra security of a true unique key. So it's 125 kilohertz RFID and totally programmable. So you can add up to 50 keys to it. So if you want to do like a bracelet or something like that, it gives you a lot of options, and it's definitely a little more secure than the magnet. It's a 70-pound break strength on the lock. So gives you just kind of that next level, but like anything else, it's a balance. It's finding that balance between security and access for your life and what makes sense there.
Now, is there a way to trip that RFID? Could that be hackable? And then something that if you had some high-tech person that pulled up outside your house, could they potentially hack that RFID system and unlock everything in your house?
I really doubt it. I'm not going to say it's impossible because pretty much anything is apparently possible with electronics, but it's such a small range on the antenna that you have to be give or take contact with it to even pick it up.
Okay, probably so within inches.
Exactly. So certainly nobody from like the street.
Right.
I have a question. You make coffee tables?
Yes, sir.
Kind of things. Now, forgive me. Obviously, I haven't seen them, and I haven't met anybody that's got them. How does that work? Does the top lift up and knock off the coffee that's sitting on top of it, or does it drop down the bottom?
It's funny.
Shouldn't I ask you that?
Our first prototype, you're dead on to exactly how the process went, because our first prototype, the top lifted, so it actually kind of like cantilevered up and then slid off. And then we said exactly that, like, that's dumb. Everything's going to fall off. That doesn't make sense. So the next version, you put they're RFID only for the coffee table, end table, and nightstand. But you put your key on the front, and the bottom drops down, and then the tray actually slides out to you. So it kind of very politely presents your firearm to you, which I love.
Yeah, I guess it's going to be weird to see a coffee table with nothing on it. That might give something away.
Right? I'm certainly not that neat and organized.
Right.
A bedside table that's got stuff attached to it, so it won't fall off. Like
exactly. What's wrong with this?
The alarm clock that's bolted on or something. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. What do you say?
I just meant the alarm clock that's attached.
Yeah. Why is everything Velcroed on this thing? We have a question from David Bowling out there. He asked, this is for Chris. He lives in Maryland. Do you guys have like a storefront that he could go and visit, or is everything online?
So everything is online if you want to see it, but you're certainly welcome to visit. We've got basically it's a factory, but we do have a showroom. Okay, cool. Nothing amazing, but it's got a little bit of all our products in there, so you can actually put hands on and touch and feel. And we love giving little tours and taking people through stuff. because there's no substitute for being able to actually, you know, feel it in person.
I have a question for you, Chris.
Yes, sir.
All right. Brent Winkle, he had asked, what is the Chinese name knockoff so we can be aware of it?
So generally speaking, I try not to give them any publicity if I can avoid it. But,
if it's not Tactical Walls, then don't buy it.
Yeah, that's the easiest way to put it.
There are some other companies that I highly recommend, like Dan at New Jersey Concealment Furniture. He makes amazing one-off like hutches and stuff like that. If you're looking for something bigger, like he does really, really good work. I'm honest competition.
A better question, Chris, might be, how do you identify if it's low quality or knockoff? Are there any telltale signs to look for if people are looking for that stuff and how it's built or whatever?
I'll tell you something that I didn't realize until we got into this is the way you tell which companies are being shady is go to their Facebook page and see if they allow reviews or comments. Because we allow both. And I think we're sitting at like a 4.8 out of 5, 4.9, somewhere in there. Which, you know, we strive for, which really try to set ourselves apart with service and quality. But there's a lot of the kind of knockoff competitors that don't allow either because they're either delivering subpar products or not delivering. So that's a real good way to test the waters. See what the page allows. If they're not allowing people to give feedback in public, there's probably a reason.
Got you. Now, what about like custom options? Do you like allow lights?
So we do offer LED lights. They're just battery operated, motion activated. Stick them wherever. I think they're $15 a piece on the website. But you just have to be aware of your situation. Like for me, where my rifle length shelf is, it didn't make sense to put the lights in there because I'd immediately be backlit to the door. And, you know, I don't want to be a silhouette if there's a bad guy behind me. So you just have to, you know, if you know you're going to be, say, in your bedroom, somebody's at the door, you're going to have enough time. It may make a lot of sense because you can see exactly what you're doing. But just really think through that situation to make sure it makes sense.
Right.
So I've got to hear from, hold on, Mike. Let me get this real quick from the chat. I'm coming right back to you. But Phoenix is out there. Has got a great question for you, Chris. Do you guys make attachments for non-tactical furniture? Like you could add a drawer to a regular coffee table or anything like that?
We've been asked for that a few times. We don't right now. Honestly, we're probably not going to anytime soon just because the tech support and customer service to trying to adapt to other people's coffee tables is.
Yeah, because it's not like there's one set of coffee table that you will fit all. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mike. What were you saying earlier?
Yeah. The last question I had was, like you have some mirrors that fold out that reveal the shelves behind it or the concealment behind the mirror.
Yep.
Now, can you get those mirrors to sway out either left or right, or do you just do one direction?
So they, instead of like opening out like a door, say, they slide like left or right along the wall. And we do that just because it keeps it even lower profile and there's no hinges that are visible or anything like that. And they absolutely open either direction. We ship them opening right, but all you have to do if you want to open left is flip it over. It's totally the same top to bottom. So super ambidextrous and easy for the end user to pick which direction it opens.
Yeah. Now I know you guys have a shelf, you have the coffee table. You already talked about that. You've got mirrors, you've got clocks. I tell you, one of the cool things that I've noticed, you guys have had a couple posts about it and all that, but you've got this Flags for Valor wall American flag. Is this something that's going to be there from now on, or is this a limited thing? Because that thing is awesome. I love this thing.
That's probably the partnership that we've got right now that I'm the absolute proudest of. They're another Virginia company. They're based out of Northern Virginia, about an hour or hour and a half from us. And they are a combat vet owned company, and they primarily only hire vets. And they make everything there in-house. And so we partnered with them for one project, and we're like, this is a badass product. We need to sell this. And so the first run was limited edition, but we sold out of the first, I think we had 26 or 29, but we sold out of them in like a day and a half. And we're like, okay, so this is a real product now. And we just finally got them back in stock, and now we're rolling with it. They're selling.
Well, I think it's awesome. I mean, obviously my background is the American flag, but I think it's something that's just really cool because you're not only expressing your patriotism and your love for this country, but you've got enough room there for, I want to say, at least 2 pistols, I believe. And then, what's that?
Yeah, minimum 2 pistols. You could probably even get 3 in there.
Just the shelf heights to fit more in, or how does that work?
So that's all pre-formed in there, and it comes with one of our magnets for retention that's already pre-placed in the top. But you can add more magnets to it, and depending on how you lay it out, you could fit quite a few in there.
Yeah.
Okay, can you
the guns? What's that?
Can you describe that?
Absolutely. So it's flag, it's U.S. flag, and it's set up for vertical orientation. Okay. So long. It's tall instead of wide. And
the stars are the top left, Patriot.
Exactly. Yeah. So that it lines up with the U.S. flag code. And it opens, it opens to the left so it maintains that direction. So it's always going the right way. And what's really cool about this one is it's surface mounted. It doesn't require a hole in the wall. It's nothing crazy. You just screw into a stud on one side and then use the anchors we provide on the other. So it's super easy installation.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really, really awesome. Like I said, there's so many great products that you guys have, but this one is one of those that, I personally like because everything is furniture, and I like the furniture style because you are hiding it in plain sight. But this is the flag, and what's more patriotic than exercising your Second Amendment right by hiding guns behind a flag, which I think is perfect. So yes, I love that thing. So I just wanted to bring that up. Now I want you to talk about some products that are your biggest sellers right now that people need to be aware of. That might be the easiest way to kind of get into the tactical walls game, and then maybe talk about, if you can, maybe some projects that y'all are working on in the future.
Sure. So our 2 biggest sellers every single month are the full-size shelf and the full-size mirror. Our 1242 RLS for the shelf, and all our part numbers signify the usable inside space. So the 1242 has 12 by 42 inches of usable inside RLS rifle length shelf. And then our 1450 mirror has 14 by 50 inches of usable inside space. And the M just represents that it's got that magnetic retention in there. Most people I find want room for a long gun and a pistol. I would say probably everybody listening to this show has at least one long gun and pistol, and they want somewhere to put it. So those are our 2 best sellers, hands down. And really it just depends on, can you cut a hole in your wall or not? Because the mirror does require a hole in the wall between 16 on center studs, whereas the shelf just mounts to the wall. So that's really kind of the limiting factor there. And then,
so if you don't want to, or you're not able to cut a hole in your wall, then the shelf unit would probably be the better.
Absolutely. Yep. And then, if it's really situational. Like I don't have kids, so for me, I don't need locks. So things like our clock tissue box and the boy, I just drew a complete blank. That's embarrassing. I should know my own products. But yeah, the non-locking stuff. Oh,
the lamp, probably.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Those are all non-locking, so those work great for me. And then honestly, one of my favorites is our Hide-A-Mag, which is a really strong magnet with a plastic coating on it. Put it under, for the guy who's asking about a coffee table or, doing something you already own. It's great for underneath a table or under a shelf, behind a door, that sort of thing.
Yeah, because that's one thing that people tend to forget if they are executing some sort of a home defense plan is you can have all the guns in the world and hope to God you don't have to go in a firefight inside your house. I hope that never happens. Yeah. But if you have a jam, what if your magazine actually malfunctions, the spring breaks or something, and you've got to be able to find another magazine for that handgun somewhere? Having them staged at the house is also very, very important as well. So I like the idea that you're able to do that without having to maybe hide a gun, but as simple as hiding a mag somewhere. I like that.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, it's the most common malfunction, right?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Now, David Bowling out there wants to know do you install or just ship?
We don't do any installation, but we send instructions. We send all the hardware. I would say probably 60-70% of folks are comfortable installing themselves. If you aren't, any of our products should be able to be installed by a handyman, contractor you trust, friend, whatever, in an hour or less. They're really simple.
Gotcha. Brent out there says a tactical toilet.
It's a vulnerable spot. I get it.
I mean, a lot of people spend a lot of time there. So, it is what it is. Are you able to talk maybe about some projects that you've got coming down the line?
So, well, there's something I mentioned earlier that we can kind of tiptoe into. We are coming up with probably a non-locking version of the shelf pretty soon. It'll be a push lock instead of, something that requires a key. So it won't be as secure, but it'll be fast access with no extra parts, which I think is going to appeal to a lot of folks who don't necessarily need to keep things under, strict lock and key, but just want that out of sight camouflage security.
Right. Now, there is one item that I think a lot of people, even if though they're not interested in hiding in plain sight and all of that, there is something that I think everyone could get in with, and that's your modular walls. And if you guys are out there in a man cave or, you've got a safe room or whatever, and you're looking kind of to display your guns and all of that, they do have some modular walls that are pretty awesome. You want to talk about those real quick?
Yeah, I love our mod wall system. That it's funny. It kind of came about by accident. We were working with a guy on a safe room, and he wanted some way to mount his stuff. And we tried some other options, and nothing was quite right, and it wasn't flexible enough. And us being who we are, we just kind of got frustrated and made our own. And it turned out really good. And so we just started to see where it went. And it went from not existing to being, give or take, our third best product, depending on the month. I honestly had no idea there was such a need for a way to just kind of display and organize as opposed to keep things out of sight. And what's funny is it's probably the only thing that actually would be described as a tactical wall. But
yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah. Because it is actually could be a wall.
Exactly. And it's, that's all US sourced high density polyethylene. And what's nice about that is it's black all the way through. So you can't scratch it. And then, it's not like cheap particle board underneath or something like that. It's not reactive to solvents or oils. It's softer than the finish on your firearms. So it's never going to, mark them up or mar them or anything like that. And then the reason we went with that material in particular is because you can cut it. So, if our panels don't fit the space you're trying to work in, you can cut them down and make them fit.
That's awesome. Because no walls are exactly the dimension they say they're going to be built.
Yeah, it's never going to work out right. Like no matter what size we made those panels, they wouldn't be right for you. It's just kind of a given.
Right. Do you guys have any questions out there before I've got another subject I want to bring up, but I don't want to move on until you guys are done with your questions. Patriot or Mike or Clover?
I think I'm good because I wanted to touch up on the mod walls, but we hit.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to do one more public service announcement, and we'll come right back to it. How about that?
That sounds great.
All right, I'm going to do one more public service announcement really quick.
Hey Ghost Squad, this is Sky. We here at Ghost Tactical would like to continue the trend of becoming more involved in any gun safety and training. We encourage everyone, no matter your skill level, to continuously look for training in your local area. We think that taking a gun safety course every other year is important. We also believe that taking classes and training for self-defense and home defense are extremely important. Make sure to go looking for classes and training opportunities when you can. This not only helps you become more proficient with your firearm, but it helps support your local instructors and Second Amendment community as a whole. Back to you, Ghost.
There you go. We're all about training and trying to get as proficient as we can with our firearms and all of that. Part of the training goes into home defense, self-defense, and concealed carry. So we're big proponents of getting as much or as little training as it takes to become proficient with your firearms. If you are already proficient, then go learn something new. Let's go back to Mike, and you wanted to talk a little bit about the mod walls real quick.
Yeah, so the question I had is, say like if somebody orders a mod wall, but they order enough to cover whatever room they're trying to cover in their whole house. Right?
Yep.
Is the service to put the walls up coming from you all, or is it coming from that person finding somebody else to do it?
No, so it's meant to be self-installed. We send the hardware, but it's actually pre-drilled 16-on centers. So all you have to do is find your studs and screw into them. It's pretty simple. It's almost like hanging drywall. Very, very cool looking drywall.
Gotcha.
Brent Winkle out there wants to know, do you guys typically have any like holiday sales or Black Friday sales or anything like that?
So we don't run a ton of sales. Most of what we do is overstock. So let's say we build too many single pistol shelves in a specific finish and we're sitting on them for a minute. We'll burn those off. Let me rephrase that. We aren't planning on doing any Black Friday sales, but who knows? Everything changes.
Sure.
Yeah, we are right now. Actually, we just announced today we did a back to school sale today through Sunday. Discount code SCHOOL10 is good for 10% off on anything on the website through Sunday. That's the only site-wide sale we've ran all year, actually. That basically happened because I got stuck behind a school bus on the way in for the first time this year and got frustrated and needed to make my day better.
There you go. I want to kind of transition a little bit before we get out of here. I don't want to keep you too long. I know you're busy and it's going to get late on the East Coast, but we've talked about home defense and having covert cabinets that are going to hide a firearm or magazines in plain sight is awesome. But there's also something that's been going on in the world that's probably more prevalent, and that is workplace shootings, school shootings, or whatever. And let's assume that there's an office that does allow people to have firearms in their office building, or schools that do allow teachers to carry or have firearms. I know that the stuff that you have could work in offices, but have you guys thought about kind of getting involved to more kind of furniture settings that look more like an office setting, or is that something you guys have even thought about?
So the things we have that kind of fit more into that are some of the customizable items we have, like our 1420, which is it's basically a shrunken version of the big mirror. We can do that in mirror, chalkboard, or dry erase board. So in an office setting, a whiteboard or a chalkboard makes perfect sense. And then our clock, we can actually do custom clock faces. So we can do, say, a company logo.
Okay.
And that really adds to the camouflage, in the setting.
I want to say Mail out there. Is that how you say? Is it Mail, or how do you say that name, Chris? Is it
Miley?
Someone?
Maile?
Yeah.
Yeah, Miley.
Miley. I'm sorry for butchering that. Miley out there says that Tactical Walls is running a 10% sale right now. Use SCHOOL10 at checkout until Sunday. So there you go, Brent, and everyone out there looking for a little discount code. Use
Miley is our ever diligent web director of tech services. I
apologize for absolutely butchering your name. I apologize. How you doing there? Good night. He says, "What's up?" Now when we kind of get back to what Patriot was talking about earlier, the visually impaired. And I know that a lot of these can be used, and obviously people kind of get used to different ways to get in and out of gun cabinets in general and gun safes and all that. Can you talk a little bit about, for those that might be visually impaired, how it could be easy for them to manage some of your covert cabinets and all that you've got that could be beneficial to the visually impaired?
Yeah. So for me, it's all about finding ways to stage the key, to stage it in a way that, it's already in the right orientation. So the back of a book, under a picture frame, something like that. This works particularly well with our shelves, because you can say, line it up with the corner and have it, tape the key card right inside the back of a book. So when you line that book up with the corner of the shelf, it's sitting right over the lock and unlocks it. And then that way you've got all those physical reference spaces.
Now, Patriot, do you have any questions when it comes to maybe some of the stuff that is working for the visually impaired? Maybe a question that maybe not you, but someone might ask that you know that might be visually impaired that's also a firearm owner? Kind of putting you on the spot. I know that. I apologize. He might be asleep. I might have put him to sleep.
No, I just got kicked up to the top, and I had to scroll all the way back down to the microphone there. Sorry. Really, it's just I wouldn't have an issue with any of them. I mean, once I have it and I get to play with it, I would, figure it out. And most guys in my situation, or women in my situation, are the same. I mean, so it doesn't take something extra. I mean, unless you have something visually citable, the chip, some combination lock, that doesn't work for us. But, the key fobs, the magnets, all that kind of stuff, that's pretty simple once you figure it out.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's just unless you have a separate code for the flag and the coffee table, I'm all set. I'm ready.
Well, that's a good question. Do you have an ability to set up one key as a fit all or a code to be a fit all? Is that possible with a customization?
So with the RFID, yes.
Okay.
The magnets are not unique keys. They're just rare earth magnets with a really strong pull. It's about a 20-pound pull. The ones on your fridge are about a 3-pound pull for comparison. The RFID, though, they're true unique keys, and each one comes with a programming card. So let's say you and I both have an RFID shelf. My key won't open yours. Yours won't open mine unless you come over with your key. I take the programming card and then add your key to that shelf. Now your key will open both of them. So,
gotcha.
If you've got units all around your house, you could carry key fob, whatever it is you choose to do, and have it set up so that one will open everything.
Okay, so that's a good idea, because I mean, for some people, like you said, because most of in a home invasion, they're not happening at 6 o'clock at night when we're still eating dinner and all that. They're happening at 2, 3 in the morning when we're going to be half asleep, and being able to find one thing to open up all your stuff could be beneficial, and time sensitive could be really, really nice. So that's a good thing to know, that you can set it up to have one code or one key to open up all of them should you have the RFID. Now, Vanessa out there says, picture frames. What do you think about picture frames?
So our 1420, we can actually do custom prints on that.
Okay.
And we've done a ton, like wedding photos, family photos, pictures of dogs, all sorts of stuff. Like
they just
print literally anything.
Sure, you can literally do it for them, or do you send it to them and they would put their picture themselves?
Yeah, we just if you get the custom version, because we have to get it printed and then we install it, because the way they're built, we kind of have to pre-install it. But yeah, you just send us the image, we mock it up, get approval from you, and then we print it and install it.
Yeah, there's Rich White out there says a degree frame would be kind of a cool to get, like the school seal, so it looks like a diploma or something like that, because no one ever is going to, think about something like that. That's kind of an interesting idea.
Well, so the other thing we do is sell just the inserts. So if you want to cover it with something you own,
you can do whatever you want. Okay.
Exactly.
Now, Obnoxious one out there, we call him Doc. He says, he just got here. Can we start over? It's called replay, Doc. It's called replay. Mike, Clover, either one of you have any questions for Chris right now?
No, I don't have any questions, but I am sold on the product, because like even when I was at not SHOT Show, but the NRA convention a few months back, they had a little setup, looked like a little house setup, and you can actually play with everything. So I'm familiar with a lot of things, especially the shelves, which really caught my attention. But I'm sold. It's high quality stuff, and really, if you come into somebody's house, if you don't know what you're looking at, you won't know what it is. So It is the real deal, and I'm hooked on it.
And they come in different finishes. It's not just one color. They come in, different finishes where it will kind of match whatever motif you have going in your house. And yes, I did say motif. So
I like it.
Don't question my my sanity. I did say motif. Now, 2 Live Moo out there, Chris. Now, this might be something he has to do aftermarket, but he was talking about, can you get an RFID like set into like a wedding ring or something that like you're never a watch or something that's maybe instead of a key.
Yep. So we only sell the cards and the key fobs, and the reason is they're cheap. For one, we sell them for $5, and then 2, they're very forgiving because it's a really big antenna. They do make RFID rings. They do make little bracelets and things like that. Just keep in mind, the smaller the key, the more precise you have to be in placing it. Right. So, a key card is 1.5 by 3, I think. So it gives you a nice wide base. You can kind of slap it on there and there's a lot of forgiveness. If you're only dealing with, say, 1/4 inch by 1/4 inch, you have to be right over the antenna for that to work. So it would take a lot more training to be functional with that.
But the products will work with an aftermarket RFID if you want to.
As long as it's 125 kilohertz, you're good to go.
There you go. Okay, 125 kilohertz. So there you go, Moo. Wedding ring it up or face your watch face or whatever. But yes, they are available to aftermarket if you want to do that.
And the coolest thing I've seen for that is stickers. They make RFID stickers, so you turn like your cell phone into the key. Oh,
that's I never thought about that. That's pretty cool.
I mean, when's the last time you didn't know where your phone was?
Exactly. What's up, Jeff Tack? Yeah, I never even thought about that. That's a great idea. So you could do that, put them on the back of your phone, and you're good to go. Because, yeah, like you said, everyone's going to grab their cell phone no matter what, especially if you're trying to call 911 or whatever. I mean, you've got to have it with you. So that's awesome. So, yeah, there's a lot of options out there, guys, for that. What I want to do right now is I don't want to keep you any longer than you have. I know it's kind of 9 o'clock on your side and Mike's side, so we're going to start kind of wrapping it up a little bit. We're going to go through the room and let everyone tag and plug what they want to, and then Chris, we're going to end with you and let you talk about anything you need to talk about. So let's start with Patriot. I know that your daughter might be coming home here pretty soon, so go ahead and plug whatever you need to plug.
She already is home.
I'm sorry for keeping you away from her, man.
No problem. I just check out my channel, on YouTube, GunStreamer. Go over to GunChannels and sign up. I know everybody is already over there, but yeah. And Twitter, I do a lot of stuff on Twitter. So, and Instagram, blind guy on Instagram. Can't beat that, right?
Blind guy on Instagram. How cool is that?
If you haven't seen it, go check it out. I got one of those little videos where I made a full video, and I realized after I produced it that I had the outdoor lights on instead of the dining room lights, so it was totally black. So
it doesn't matter, right? I mean,
no, I thought it was great, and I got comments from Midnight Range that he's like, "Yeah, that's all black." I just screwed up.
Of course, Hop's going to make a comment like that.
I was like, and it was a good one because I was making jokes about the 9mm. So anyway, God. But yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Oh man, I love having you on, and anytime you want to come back, you're welcome. Anytime, man.
You're stuck now, so I'm going to hold you to it.
I love it. I love it. Semper Fi, brother. Mike, what you got going on, buddy?
Oh man, you already know what I got. I got the GoFundMe. Once again, if you go to gofundme.com/m-w tactical, right now we're doing a big push and trying to get these 2 officers into jiu-jitsu training for a year. We already got 1 officer in, so we're trying to get the other 2 in. So please go to gofundme.com/m-w tactical, and it'll help out in a big way. If you haven't done so already, go check me out on Instagram and Facebook. Just look up M-W Tactical and either give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, like, comment, whatever you choose to, but show your support one way or another. And then you already know today is Tuesday, so we put up a new video and we was talking about the JM4 holster, the Relic series. And you can go check that review out on GunStreamer under Munitions Weapons Tactical, GunTube, UGEtube, and YouTube under M-W Tactical.
Real quick before David's getting ready to get out of here, David wants to know real quick, Chris, and how easy or hard is it to break into your products?
It depends which one. The magnetic lock's certainly easier to defeat than the RFID. The camouflage is the biggest security by a long shot, just having it blend into plain sight. But there's a bunch of other layers, like on the mirrors got vinyl safety coating, so it'll spiderweb instead of shatter. That's backed up by plywood. And then especially the RFID locks, you have to apply pressure in the exact right spot. All that said, it's made from real hardwood. So if somebody knows exactly what it is, they can get in, just not without destroying it.
Well, hopefully by the time they would actually be able to get into it, you've probably taken care of the problem anyways.
Right.
If anybody really wants something, no matter if it's in a gun safe, it could be behind concrete. If somebody wants something, they're going to get it.
Exactly.
You get to them before they get to it. So, Clover, what you got? I know you're a busy man. You got a shotgun around tomorrow night on Next Generation, but what you got going on the rest of the week? I think you have a kind of an announcement to make, don't you? A little excitement.
Well, don't really want to put that out there just yet, but
okay.
Yeah, we will eventually. We've talked about it about bringing Walther on to the Friday show, so that's been teased and thrown out there, but I'm not ready to say one way or the other for sure just yet. But we do have Honor Defense on Friday, so that'll be cool. We'll be talking with Gary from Honor Defense, and then Jason, we got a shotgunner tomorrow. Jason will be with us. He's a college kiddo, so a little bit older than what we've had in recent weeks, but we finally get back into some boys. Everybody was getting a little worried that it was all girls. And I think the next few weeks is boys, and I actually got a competitive shooter from South Africa.
Oh, really?
Cool. That's going to be really interesting. Yeah, you think South Africa, you don't think about firearms and shooting.
Oh, you think about shootings, that's a whole different issue.
You don't think about competitive shooting at all, right? So that's that's an interesting thing. That'll be a good conversation, I think. So yeah, check out those Wednesday shows for sure if you haven't already. Yeah,
and I want to do a quick plug for this as well. If you haven't checked out the last 6 weeks or so of Wednesday night at 7:00 Central on Clover's, it's called The Next Generation, and he's doing a series right now. It's probably going to be 2 or 3 months. It might go longer than that, but he's doing a series on spotlighting youth competitive shooters, not only to talk about their experiences, but hopefully maybe let them be a role model to other kids out there that might be into firearms but don't really know how to take that next step. So he's had range from 10 to 20 something years old. So go check out him in replay. And obviously tomorrow night at 7:00, we have a shotgunner joining him. So that'll be a fun one. It's the first shotgunner, I believe, is it not? I think you've had some.
Sorry. Yeah, I was on mute. First, we've had 3 gunners, Still Challenge, SASP, a lot of that stuff. Last week we had the first archer. This week we've got the first shotgunner. So we're starting to get a little mix.
Yeah, so go check that out. It's a great program. Go check them out Thursday night if you're a content creator or you're thinking about being a content creator. At 10:00 Central, he has the after hours. It's the nerd chat. We talk about algorithms and thumbnails and tags and titles and social media and all that. It's a great one. If you're thinking about turning the camera on, go ahead and do that. And then Friday night's Firearm Friday. He's got you have Honor coming in this Friday, correct? That who you have for his Honor coming in Friday night?
Yeah, we got Honor Defense. Honor Guard is the pistol.
Defense. Not Honor Guard. Okay. That's okay. I get mixed up. So Honor Guard is the pistol. Honor Defense is the company. All right.
Correct.
So
Honor. Yeah, correct.
It's gonna be awesome. Chris, I want to let you have some time real quick to plug your company, plug your website. I'll be putting the website out there in the chat while you're talking, but talk about anything you guys have going on and what you're working on. I'm assuming you're going to be at some different shows with SHOT Show and NRA, and you're going to, I don't know what other shows you guys go to, but talk about where you are, where you're going to be, and what the future holds for Tactical Walls.
Absolutely, man. First, before anything else, thank you for having me. This has been great. This is you got a great audience. Everybody actually interacts and plays along and has awesome questions. This has been amazing. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, doing tons of shows coming up. We basically, our show season starts in September, and then we're just hammered down through spring. But Cary Garden, Richmond next month. We're doing a really cool event, the Stark Marketing Expo down at Range 37 in Bun Level, North Carolina, the third weekend in September. We're actually going to be running live fire timed contest out of our furniture on the range.
Out of the furniture. Awesome.
Yeah. And giving prizes to the top 3 times. So that'll be fun. Actually get to see how quick can you deploy. Our winner last time we did that, I think he got 2 rounds on steel in it was 1.07 seconds. It was ridiculous. Ooh. That guy was stupid fast.
His name Jerry Mikulik.
You would have thought. He was walking around with a suppressed MP5 in his backpack. So that gives you an idea of who this guy was.
Nice.
He did something way cooler than me for a living. That's all I could guess.
I don't know. It's pretty cool. I'm not going to
lie. Yeah, so we got that. SHOT Show, of course. NRA. Great American Outdoors Show next spring is a good one if you're in the kind of Northeast. We're all over. What else? There are some new stuff coming out. We've got some more accessories for Modwall coming out real soon. Some interesting stuff on the furniture front that I can't go too far into yet. One other thing I really wanted to say is, keep guns, keep ammo, flashlight, keep a med kit in this furniture. Yes. If you're preparing for a situation where somebody's going to get holes put in them, it doesn't hurt to have a way to stop that too. So keep a tourniquet, keep some gauze, keep, whatever you're comfortable using, and learn how to use it, because that's really important too.
Now, let me ask you this real quick before we go. I'm not going to speak for Clover, but he and I think a lot alike, and I'm sure you and I are going to talk quite a bit in the next few months. I'd love to have you on. Anytime you want to just come on and hang out and be on the panel and just talk guns and all that, I'd love to have you. But when you're at SHOT Show and you don't have something going on or whatever, let's go try to catch a drink somewhere or whatever and catch up in Vegas. What do you say?
Yeah, that would be outstanding. I love every part of that.
Yeah, that'd be good fun. And I said, I'm not going to talk for Clover, but I think that we would all kind of
only if he pays. I'm not free. I'm not free. He has to pay.
Oh, okay, he does have. Yeah, okay.
Well, I'll get you an appendix.
There you go. There you go.
But usually, if you just throw some ammo his way, he'll
ammo. Stickers,
patches, maybe a little tactical wall patch would be kind of cool. Yeah. There you go.
Wagon. No, understood.
I think their personalities kind of all mesh. We're all kind of smart asses a little bit and don't take ourselves very seriously. So I think that if you're in Vegas and you have nothing going on one night, maybe we might meet you at one of the parties or whatever. But let's definitely keep in touch, as I've really enjoyed the conversation. And like I said, your personality fits in great with it. So anytime you want to come on just to hang out, more than welcome to have you on anytime. I love having you.
I appreciate it.
And what's cool too, not to horn in here too heavily, but with what you're talking about there and having some of these industry people and businesses on too, is we could easily go out to eat, as like we do with the GunChannels crew or whatever, and industry people go with us, and kind of forming our own SHOT Show party in a way, right?
I'm not big into huge crowds, so these parties and all that, I mean, yeah, whatever, but I would much rather get maybe 5 to 10 of us that are
right
like-minded, just go hang out, and go catch a buffet somewhere and hang out and all that. That's much more important to me, especially with someone that's in the industry. That's how you forge relationships and all that, is not going to these parties, but actually getting to know them as people. So it is what it is.
Somebody say buffet.
Buffet, yeah.
Like
don't Yankee to a buffet. Yankee at a buffet is not good. Just saying, I'm just letting you know he's not good at a buffet. But no, guys, we're gonna kind of cut out of here. I know that Night Strike has started over there on Hit or Miss. Go check him out, and Travis, and if Smeggy's there, and you got Squib and Sandhills and all those guys over in Hit or Miss. If you're on YouTube, the channel is Night Strike 1. If you're on GunChannels, it is Hit or Miss. Guys, if you're watching this live, thank you so much for joining us live. If you're watching in replay, thank you for watching on replay. This will be in replay on GunStreamer, on GunTube.org, obviously here on YouTube. You can catch it on GunChannels. We will take the audio and put it on podcast form over on iHeartRadio, iTunes, and PodBean. So go check us out if you guys are driving to work in the morning and you've got a nice little hour commute and you don't want to be bored. Go ahead and check out the podcast over there on those as well. So thanks again, Chris, for everything. I really enjoyed the conversation. Thank you for everybody who stopped by and watched and is watching a replay. We really appreciate that. Go check out tacticalwalls.com. Their products are amazing. I personally have a shelf that is, I love it, and I can vouch for the quality of it. It's awesome. It fits in with decor. So go check them out. Make sure that you have a plan. Most importantly, get to the range. Be more proficient with your firearms. Take someone new to the range with you. If they've never shot and they're undecided about firearms and they've never pulled a trigger, we all remember what it's like to pull that trigger for the first time. The exhilaration and the adrenaline rush you get. Take someone new to the range. Have them pull a trigger. You never know. And secondly, if you're interested, please turn on your camera. We need all the help we can get in social media, the gun community. If you've ever thought about it, don't worry about quality. Don't worry about views. Don't worry about any of that stuff. Turn your camera on. Be part of the community. You have a lot of people around here that will help you. All you got to do is reach out to us. We'll help you in any way. You don't know if your one video touches that one person out there and completely changes their mind into becoming a pro gun advocate. So be willing and able to turn the cameras on. Thank you guys for always watching and listening. We do truly appreciate the support, and we shall see you next week on Tactical Tuesday. Semper Fi.